Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Passionate Piscator. Now, I'm going to be right up top here by saying this is likely to be an episode where I don't catch any fish at all. The reason being is I very, very rarely, when I come to Angler's Paradise, which is where I am, target big carp. They're very hard to catch. I'm not very good at catching them. So I'm just going to say right at the top as a caveat, this one may not have me catching a carp in it. However, I'm whispering because I'm down on the Specimen Carp Lake. Now, only the other day I was saying, oh, I've never fished it before, been coming here for 10 years and never fished it, so I thought I need to rectify that on my 10-year anniversary here. This is where I'm going to be fishing, in amongst all of these lily pads. It's going to be a real tussle if I do actually catch one, but I have seen a few carp moving around throughout the week. I've got with me a beefy old carp rod, my scope rod, a 10-foot one, so I can poke it in amongst the margins and through the trees. I've got a big old landing net, and I'm going to be targeting these fish. Well, I'm not going to be on the bottom in here, am I? I'd never get my rig back again. I'm going to be using dog biscuits and bread on the surface, chucking a few in, watching to see if any fish come up, and just generally having a really nice, peaceful time down by the lake full of lilies, watching the wildlife and hopefully some fish. As I say, chances are very slim at me getting one in here. I can always move around to the main lake a bit later on maybe, to try a spot in there, but wish me luck. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to John Wilson chicken leg walk around the corner, put on my polarised sunglasses so I can see what's going on just underneath the sheen of the water surface. I've got a pocket here full of dog biscuits. Oh, not this one, that's my waist. That's hopeful, isn't it, carrying a waistling? Got a pocket full of these tasty dog biscuits, some chum mixes. I'm just going to scatter them in likely spots just around this edge here and see what I can find. I'm going to keep nice and stealthy. Take no rod, no gear. I'm just going to go out, feed, see if I can sight fish some fish. Now I'm going to sneak back to here, base camp, grab my bits I need, sneak back again into position. If there's no fish there, there's no point me lugging all my gear that way. I'll wait till they come in and I'll go for them. Let's hope it works. Chicken leg walking is basically just picking your feet up off the ground, making sure they don't scuff and disturb the fish as you're walking along. It's not very easy round here because there's about half a foot of mud to squelch through. And to try and avoid the squelching, I've got to try and pick my way through some of the bankside vegetation. Just literally chucking in a few dog biscuits here and there, keeping quiet, keeping still, or keeping relatively quiet. I am talking to you guys, and just seeing if there's any movement at all, watching for any ripples, clouds of silt coming up, any big rubbery lips, any knocks on the lily pads. As you can see, there's still a load of lily pads behind me. If I see any of them just shaking around a little bit, I'll know that there's a fish not far away. I mean, the carp may not come up to the surface at all. They may just not fancy it. But it's got to be worth a try though, isn't it? And let's face it, look at that. There's worse things to be doing with your time, that's for sure. I do actually have all my carp gear with me. I could put a shelter up, stick the carp rods out on alarms and sit there and just relax. But I do enjoy stalking around for fish that I can see. Not only that, but when I got to Angler's Paradise, they'd run out of the electric trolleys that they use. they rent them out so that you can move up and down. And honestly, going down to the main lake from the main villas is hard work, lugging all that gear. I'd have to do at least 2 trips, and I haven't really come heavily packed with stuff. Just walking around light with a little bag, 1 rod, an unhooking mat. That's it really, that's all I've got. Well, my net and my rod, of course. That's a much easier way of getting around, and you can travel around several lakes doing that as well. Ah, this is lovely. Anyway, I'm going to keep on feeding, keep on looking, give it a half an hour or so, then I'll move around to a different area of the lake, see what I can find around there. See, that there is what I'm looking for. Lily's doing a little bit of a twitch, a little bit of a movement, with fish knocking around on the bottom and around the stems. Now, I'm not just throwing in dog biscuits willy-nilly. I'm trying to use my brain a little bit. Over here, over there, there's a tree which is overhanging the water and just dipping into it on the surface, and I'm thinking maybe some carp might be hiding underneath that. And also, if I sneak along over here, I've put some dog biscuits in along this edge. Now the reason being there is that the wind is blowing in this way. It's only a slight breeze. It's quite windy over the other side of the lake, but there's a slight breeze blowing this way. And I'm hoping that if any food items do fall on the surface of the lake, that the wind's going to be pushing them in to this edge, and that's where I'm going to be putting my dog biscuits. And hopefully that's where the fish are going to be coming in looking for food which has fallen in. But this is great. This is really, really great. I love this sort of fishing. Stalking around. You feel so part of nature, and it's really, really relaxing. Just being here, watching the water, and the whole time you're learning about the fish, you're learning about the wind, you're learning about the wildlife, and you're learning how to just relax and chill out and enjoy nature and appreciate the world around you. Oh, there's some proper movement in the lilies down here now. Right, I'm going to stop filming so I can stop talking and just keep watching, keep waiting. It's not the specimen carp from the Specimen Lake, but he is a carp from the Specimen Carp Lake. My first ever carp I've ever caught out of here. He's only wee. Let's have a look. So much net you can't find him in it. Oh, hello. Hooked in the top of the mouth, lovely job. So he's only small, but he's a tubby little fish. Oh. He's still got a lot of fight in him as well. Don't think he really knew what was happening to him. He was feeding in amongst all the lilies, and I just cast a bit of bread on his nose, and bam, there he is. Lovely little fish though, really big, humped back on him. This one's likely to grow to be quite a size, I think. Especially eating my bread. Oh, what a lovely fish. Now, I'll pop him back into his lily pad home and have a little bit of a wander on, because I think that may have spooked any other fish that was in the swim. Well, how about that? I caught a carp from the Specimen Carp Lake. Admittedly, not the specimen carp I was hoping for, but a 4-pound mirror carp like that, and I'm a happy angler. The first time I've ever caught a fish out of this lake, and I really don't care what size they are, to be honest. It fought pretty heavily in those lilies. The only thing you can do in this situation is not allow it to take any line. You've got to bully the fish in a little bit and get it through the lilies and into a little patch. And the patches are very little in the lilies, so you can play it and get it into the net. I'm using 15-pound line with a, is it 15-pound? Yeah, it is 15-pound line. And I'm just dabbing the bread on the surface so the fish can't see any line at all. You can lay the line across the lilies so they can't see it, so it doesn't affect them, but you need the beef to be able to pull them through the lilies to be able to fish a swim like this. Now, this is opposite where I was feeding the fish earlier on, hoping they would come in, and they didn't. So I'm hoping now that the wind will blow some of the food around this edge here. And I'm going to pop a few doggies in here. Being fairly noisy actually, I shouldn't be really, but it does take a while for the fish to come up, so I'm going to just throw a bit in and then just have a bit of a stand back and watch and wait. But I suspect that very well may be the only fish I'll get out of here today, and it's not, I'm not really going to have a lot to film. Which is sad. However, Steve of the past has prepared for such an occasion, and only the other day Steve, i.e. me, made himself an absolutely delicious breakfast themed around Angler's Paradise. So if we cut to him, he will show you how to make this amazingly delicious breakfast, which screams the joys of Angler's Paradise. Over to you, Steve. Hello and welcome to breakfast time with me, the Passionate Piscator. Today we're at Angler's Paradise and I am going to be making the perfect Angler's Paradise breakfast. First thing you'll need is a loaf of bread and a knife. And what we'll do is take the knife and slice off the top of this bread, like so. Hello? Yes, this is the President. Fish, you say? I'll be right on it. Having sliced the top of your bread off, what we're now going to do is what Zig does best, and that's dig out a lake. Been circling round and round to make sure I get a nice shape. There we go, and you get your fingers in there and scoop out a lumpy chunk of bread. Beautiful. Now we have a little lake. Now, just like Zig, we're going to fill our lake with some fish. Firstly, I am going to be adding the sausage. Now, these are going to represent the lovely catfish that you can find in the Angler's Paradise lakes. In fact, if you want to, like I have, you can make a little catfish sausage with a nice big tail and plop your catfishy sausage, bam, 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 into the lake. Now we have some lovely catfish swimming around in our lake. The other thing Angler's Paradise is very well known for is its excellent carp fishing. And for carp, I'm going to be adding bacon. Now, it doesn't really look much like a carp. So, what I've done is I've cut it up and made little tiny fish out of it. Nice 30-pounder going in. 20, 26 on the boilie. In they go. I've also made some little teeny tiny carp because there's plenty of them too. There we go. Little teeny tiny carps made from bacon. Now I was lazy. I got a little cutter to cut these out in the bacon. So I'm going to sprinkle these in with the lovely catfish. After all, the catfish need something to eat, don't they? And we need some carp to catch in our Angler's Paradise Lake breakfast. So we have our carp and we have our catfish, but surely the most famous fish here at Angler's Paradise are the plethora of golden orf and goldfish and golden rudd and golden tench and all the golden fish under the sun, and we're going to replicate those beautiful golden fish with a lovely tin of beans. Check it up. Look at them go. Whee! Plop, 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 plop. Brilliant. Excuse me, madam. Of course, Angler's Paradise is also famous for its delicious homemade wine. Oh, it's incredibly strong. And you get a free bottle when you arrive from Zeke himself as a little gift. So, to make this a proper Angler's Paradise breakfast, you really should add some of the delicious wine. So, with a healthy glug or a glass of some delicious Angler's Paradise wine. It'll be a little bit boozy, this meal, but Angler's Paradise is quite a boozy place, isn't it? Now I'm going to cook that up, and we'll add these little golden fish, all boozed up, into our delicious Angler's Paradise breakfast. Of course, the downside to adding a little bit of Angler's Paradise wine to the mix, it does make the sauce a little bit runny. So, what else is Angler's Paradise known for? Well, it's incredibly cheesy. That's perfect. So we'll grab some grated cheese and chuck in there as well, just to make sure the sauce is thickened up nicely. So with the sauce thickened up nicely, it's time to spoon it into the lake. In fact, you put a little bit of the cheesy sauce in there as well, so it all runs down. I've got the bacon, I've got the sausage catfish in there. Yum yum yum. Nom 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 nom. I've got some little bacony carp. I've got some more here somewhere. There we go. Got some bacony. Let's sprinkle some bacony carp on the top. And don't forget all those lovely golden orf. Let's get some more orf in there. Yeah, some golden rudd. Look at that, really pop them in there. They really need to go in deep. Go on, fellas, swim away, swim away. Absolutely perfect. Bit more sauce. Oh, look at that. The Angler's Paradise Lake. But maybe it's missing a little something. It needs a little splash of Devon in there, doesn't it? What it's missing is a dash of the beautiful, glorious Devon sunshine, because as we all know, it never rains in Devon. So the sunshine today is going to be brought to us by some lovely, sunshiny, delicious, fresh, free-range eggs. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, that's a complete breakfast right there. Let's move that one across a bit. Carefully, 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 into the oven she goes. And when the eggs are cooked, then we're ready. And here we are. The Angler's Paradise breakfast. A lake dug into a loaf of bread filled with delicious catfish sausages and carp bacon, and loads of golden orf and golden tench and golden rudd, topped with some delicious sunshine from the beautiful Devon countryside. Of course, a little bit more cheese wouldn't go astray at Angler's Paradise, would it? Let's face it. And don't forget, it's got that delicious, boozy, homemade Ziggy wine in there as well. Here we go, a delicious angler's paradise breakfast, cut into the shape of a lake. Gorgeous. Is there some delicious catfish sausage? Oh, you can really taste the wine. Lovely. Of course, I'm going to dig into this. There's only me here this week. This is my huge breakfast. I won't need to eat for the rest of the week. Or, if you're with friends, you can slice some chunks off, make a hell of a lot of mess, and divide it up amongst your buddies. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me, the Passionate Piscator, on this culinary experience to make the angler's paradise breakfast. Yum. Or, even better, some delicious krill oil. Thanks, Steve of the past. That was a very good breakfast. That actually did me for 2 breakfasts. One that day and one the next day. Oh, very nice. Anything I will say, need a little bit of salt and pepper, which I forgot to bring with me. So sprinkle a bit of that on top as well. The salt can be the tears of the angler who who loses that big fish. And perhaps the pepper can be the spice of the lovely food that you get down at the restaurant down at Angler's Paradise. The nice spicy curries. I've got chilli and all sorts coming up for the rest of the week. Anyway, I've just been sat here enjoying a bit of an air show. A big Chinook helicopter came past, and then some jet just tore through as loud as you like. Madness. So much for peace and quiet of angling. But I've gone around and I've thrown in a few dog biscuits in some likely areas around some lilies in this little corner bay on the Specimen Carp Lake. And I'm just sort of waiting really. It's going to give them sort of 10-20 minutes to get in, and then I'm going to have a walk around and see if I can still see any of the dog biscuits which are on the surface. If they're still there, the carp haven't been to see me. If they are not there, then something's been eating them and I need to get on the case. I'm afraid I've become a bit distracted. There's a massive, I'm saying it's massive, white koi carp milling around all these lilies here. Up and down, up and down. And I've been up and down trying to follow it and catch it. But typically it's completely ignoring me. Anyway, I'm going to still keep following it, but I think what I should have done is probably moved on to a different lake, to be honest. It's getting a bit late in the day now, but I'm going to give it one more try to catch this koi, and then call it a day, I think. Don't think I'm going to get her. But you never know, he who dares wins. I just missed another carp of about 3 or 4 pound, about the same size as the one I had earlier on, right over in the very far corner. I gave up chasing that koi. He went off around that way somewhere and disappeared. He wasn't interested in anything I was offering him anyway. Yeah, the carp over there, he just come up. I didn't even know he was there. Well, I just dabbed my little bit of bread on the surface. It was just slightly sinking, so I'd drop the line over a bit of lily so it held it in place. He just came up and took it. He took it in his mouth, slowly sunk down with it, And I was like, oh, he hadn't closed his mouth. You know, the hook was still there. I could see just as it was disappearing, the hook was on the other side of a bit of bread. Just slowly pulled it down in his mouth and then thought, nah, just spat it back out again. Well, as is tradition here at Angler's Paradise, if you don't catch a specimen carp from the Specimen Carp Lake, Zig sends you to the troll house. No. It's been a fantastic day down here on Specimen Carp Lake, regardless of only catching one fish. But that one fish was a superb little 4-pounder, and you could see that fish was going to get really big at some point in its future. It's been so nice and peaceful down here, down with all the moorhens and the ducks. There's nobody else even down here. It's so quiet and so peaceful. I've had time to relax and chill out. I spent far too long walking up and down, watching a big white koi and trying to catch it. But sometimes you learn more from not catching fish than actually catching them. And I spent a long time watching that koi go round and round and round. And I noticed that it was doing the same circuit all the time, round in circles. You could almost time it as to when it was going to come round and get to you. And that's worth knowing sometimes. Perhaps next time when I come down, I better find the koi, locate where it is, and time exactly when it's going to be in front of me, and present a piece of bread or dog biscuit or whatever bait I choose right in front of it and catch it. I didn't actually see any carp that were going to 20 pounds plus, but that doesn't matter. They're definitely in there. I've seen all the pictures of people catching them. One of the reasons I come down to Angler's Paradise really is to catch all the ornamental fish, and the carp do tend to fall to the wayside because they are quite common. I can catch carp on my doorstep, and that shouldn't be the case, should it? I should definitely come down and target some of these fantastic carp as well. Anyway, I'm going to head off back home now to the villa. It's only been an afternoon here, so I haven't wasted too much time. And fishing is never a waste of time anyway, is it? Give this video a like, subscribe, check out some of my other content, and I will see you again next time, hopefully down at the Specimen Carp Lake, cradling a beautiful 20 plus carp another time. Bye!
What are you doing here? This is my home. Shove off. Go on, get out of here. Go on. Yeah.